Hello, everyone. Today's video, we're going to talk about an overview of Azure services. Those services are going to include compute, networking, storage, mobile, databases, web, the Internet of Things, big data, and DevOps. You can see here on my screen that I'm signed into my Azure account using my personal account, as always. I typically find it easier to search for the items I want here, right? I can search for SQL databases. I can search for virtual machines. Azure also makes it possible for you to search via categories over here under all services. So if I bring up all services, you'll see the list of categories running vertically down the left side of the screen. So we'll start with compute services. Compute services, generally speaking, are going to have your virtual machines. This list is not sorted alphabetically, it's sorted by popularity. So you can see that VMs are the most popular item in this group. We can set up scale sets, container instances, we can set up cloud, we can set up disks that will attach to VMs later. We can download operating system images, etc. Under networking, you'll see we'll spend lots of time later looking at VNets or virtual networks. We'll take a look at public IP addresses. We will spend some time looking at service endpoints and a little bit of time looking at their policies. We'll look at both public and private DNS zones. We'll set up vWANs, wide area networks. We'll work with both internal and external load balancers. So we'll spend a good deal of time looking at all of these things. Storage, we'll look at storage accounts, which is where your data is going to be stored for Azure CLI. Your VM disks will be stored. You'll create file, table, queues, storage, etc. We'll download Storage Explorer, and we'll look at how to use that to upload and download files. We'll talk about, but not be able to demo, Azure Data Box. This is a service that allows you to order a box of one or more USB connected drives. If you have lots of data on premises that you want to upload to the cloud, but you don't want to tie up your internet connection, you'll order this from Microsoft, or you can buy your own USB connected drives. You'll enable BitLocker encryption. You'll do a local copy of all of your data to those drives. You'll ship it to your local Microsoft Azure data center, and the Microsoft folks will upload the data for you. Some web services. We'll create app services. We'll take a look at content delivery networks, which allow you to propagate your web applications from the East Coast to the West Coast, from North America to South America, over to Europe, etc. We won't spend a whole heck of a lot of time in here. We will look at app services. We will look a bit at CDN. Not much else in this category. There are specialized Azure specialized Azure certifications if you want to get more involved in these things. Okay. Under mobile, okay, app services you'll see is in the same place. Power Platform, I would like to touch on, time permitting, we will. But again, there are separate Azure certifications for those things. Okay. We'll take a look a bit at containers. Time permitting, again, we'll look at Docker and Kubernetes to manage or orchestrate your containers. Containers in virtual machines, if you're not already super familiar, they're very similar in the sense that it's an easy way to package an application as opposed to a VM, which packages a computer instance. I can throw a web application into a container and then either copy it across the network, copy it to a USB drive, and take it from server A to server B. We'll look at the container registries, where I can download pre-built images of popular things such as SQL Server. Speaking of SQL Server, I can come into the database category. There are no shortage of databases. Postgres is in here. SQL VMs are in here. Elastic Job Agents, which again we won't touch on in this class. But if you have a need for databases, there's a whole category in here. Cosmos is in here. Data Lake is in here somewhere. Postgres is in here. So we'll touch on a bit of all of that. Okay, analytics or big data. You'll see that there Synapse Analytics are in here. HD Insight clusters, Databricks. Now we'll spend a very brief amount of time in here looking at these things for big data. Again, Azure has no shortage of certifications you can take related to just that. Okay, and the last category, I believe, that we'll look at here under artificial intelligence and machine learning, you'll see that some of Azure's resources fall under multiple categories. Again, this is not, generally speaking, how I go about finding things. I know if I need to create a question and answer maker, I'll just type Q&A up in the search box. It makes finding what I'm after a little easier. I would, however, recommend that you spend some time looking through these categories and, at the very least, having some semblance of an idea, right? Activity logs we'll talk about. Log Analytics Workspace we'll talk about at the very end of the course. Application Insights is something I make use of pretty frequently. We'll touch on Azure Workbooks and diagnostic settings. We'll also touch on alerts. So I think we'll touch on, all 9 of these things in the course moving forward. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.